And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
So we'll start with what's going on with Uncle Fredward and life in general. I'm working on a movie, you guys. It's called The Girl in the Pool. Don't trip. The script was done and the movie was greenlit and in production before the strike ever started. I don't play that shit. It's more money for the Federation treasure chest, which I'm very happy about. And this has been a crazy journey so far, trying to start my own federation and do it in a bit of a different way. There's been ups and downs, and I feel like I've been game for all of them, even the ones that have surprised me. But it's changing and moving the way I do things. I've invested in the premier streaming network. You guys should check it out. It's an app. You can just go to the App Store and download it. It's big, just big time indie wrestling, PSN, I call it, Premier Streaming Network. Guys, go subscribe. You can see all these wrestlers that you're watching now in AEW and WWE. You can start watching their independent matches when they were wrestling under different names sometimes the same. But guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, like you can see the old Generico and Kevin Steen matches. We're signing new indie companies all the time. We have House of Glory now. We have more and more coming. Impact, we got love for y'all. We're even going to have some Impact. But we've got tons of indie wrestling on there. If you guys want to see a different side of wrestling, or if you want to see a little history lesson on the wrestlers you like now, check it out there. And then, like with my own thing, I did this to learn about the indie promotion business, right? Because I don't want to just go in friggin' green. So that was sort of the impetus for the investment in the first place. But a producer that I had spoken to who really liked the script that I wrote, because it wasn't going to be, I know I said what I said, but it was never going to be like WWE or AEW. I just didn't want people crapping on it right away. This producer that I sent it to, who I was thinking about doing it as a TV thing until I was just going to lose any and all ownership basically to the distributor and to the showrunner, because they weren't going to let me run my own show, pissing me off. Probably just for ego reasons, but I know what I'm capable of doing. And I had already written all the episodes, so I didn't even need a writer's room. I didn't feel like. And this is a while back now. Anyway, this producer came back and said, what if you did that as a movie and the movie spawned the independent promotion? Or we do the independent promotion and use some of that footage for the movie. So I'm thinking about actually doing that and sort of rewriting the first season into a feature film and kind of spawning it off that. But I don't know. And this is sort of like, this isn't me confirming or denying anything. This is me just like sort of free consciousness, just sort of thinking out loud and trying to work this stuff out. And I figured I'd try to work it out with you guys. And I don't see everybody's responses, but I see some. And you might think it's a horrible idea. You might think it's an awesome idea. It's not. It won't change my mind, but I definitely get interested in what people hate and what people like. So I'm thinking about that, and it wouldn't be a comedy like Ready to Rumble, which I actually like. I know it didn't do that well, but I thought it was a cool movie. It would be a drama, and it would be sort of some of the crazy stories I've heard about independent promotions over the years and taking some of those and implementing them into a unique story of my own. But yeah, I've been thinking about it. I only heard about it the last couple days. He texted me when I was on set, and I wrote him back. I said, hey man, I'm working right now, but let me talk to you this weekend. And I spoke with him yesterday, and, he kind of pitched me on the idea and the budget and how we would pull it off and that kind of stuff when the strike's over and all that crap, which hopefully will be soon. And then kind of sitting down and figuring out a way. So I'm thinking about, I don't know yet. I'm not, even as I talk about it, I'm like, nah, maybe it's not such a good idea. But I'm trying to keep an open mind. I think that's the best way to create the things we want to create, is to examine every opportunity as they come, not just crap on it right away. You can crap on it down the line once you learn a bit. But yeah, it's just something that I've been thinking about. So anyway, the Federation continues. It's such a weird journey. It sometimes makes you question why you would come back to the business that drives you so crazy. And yeah, so I don't know. But I know I could do it. I just don't know if it's the right thing to do. You guys might have an opinion, so let me know. Well, now it is time to address the women's division. Not in WWE, mind you, but in AEW. That's All Elite Wrestling, in case you didn't know. Anyway, Jade Cargill has taken her first loss, which I think is going to end up being a good thing. Now she can actually get a story on her way back to the title. The woman she lost to, Miss Chris Statlander, I used to call her Stratlander, but it's Statlander, is the new champion. But I think everybody was surprised when she won. She had her first match, or first defense against Nyla Rose, and got the win. She's got a really cool moveset if you haven't seen her work. Back to Jade, if we can for a moment, because she's a unicorn and there's not a lot. And I don't feel that she's been utilized as well as she could. I've definitely seen her promo work get better. I think everyone has seen her work get a little better. Again, they limit what she can do to a certain degree to keep her safe and to keep her opponents safe while she's learning on the job. She's been doing this, I think, 2 years? Between 2 and 3 years, something like that. So it's not a lot of time. But if you don't know what she looks like, go on Instagram or online and type in Jade Cargill, and you will see the goddess of war. Like, she's Athena. Like, they have an Athena, but in Greek mythology, she is that. Like, she looks like she's sculpted from stone, and she has an attitude and personality that really, really matches. She's developing the skills that you need on the microphone, and no one can argue that she hasn't gotten better. I guess the argument would be the wrestling, but I don't know how you gauge that based on the types of matches she's been asked to have, right? Which is her usually dominating the opponent. We haven't had to see her work her way from underneath. This can be that opportunity that she can fall on hard times. She can struggle now that she's lost. I hope to see them do this. I really do. To see her only lose once is not the way to go. I think she has to struggle and have a mental block and a mental challenge that she herself has to come over. And that becomes the story until you can get her someone that will then be the other character in the story. But you can self-motivate. We're watching Cody Rhodes do it. He doesn't have someone to wrestle every week. So it can be done. If she lost another match to someone there's no way she should lose to, then all of a sudden the backstage promo is her yelling at her girls like, yo, get the bleep away from me right now. Get away from me now. Like, something is wrong and she shouldn't be losing, and she is. Are you injured? No, I'm not hurt. Leave me alone. Like, whatever. Like, she has to go through some kind of struggle now so that she can, do the metamorphosis into the next version of herself. So I hope that they're thinking of that. They probably are. There's no way you would just make her lose just to lose. So hopefully that's the direction they go. If you think the idea sucks, then outdo me and do something better. And if you think it's good, then steal it. I just want to see all these women improve so that you have the kind of roster that demands people watch. And I think early on, Jade had that, and then they lost it, all of them collectively, down the line a little bit. But that doesn't mean you can't get it back. You just have to make people want to watch. And I think that's a way, off the top of my head. Also in AEW, Jeff and I love her. Well, we love them both, actually. Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter had to lose in England, you guys. I think it was because she was injured. At least that's what, dirt. Do you guys like being called dirt sheets? Or is that like an insult? I'm not trying to crap on anybody, but I think that's what it said on wrestling news sites. That's more respectful way. So if she was hurt, then that's the right thing. If not, then that's kind of weird because I think she's a good champion. She got to speak a few times without Britt Baker, slowly but surely, and got better every time. You could tell she was getting more comfortable. Her promos, especially the backstage stuff, was actually better than the in-ring stuff. And I think they knew that because they did most of her stuff backstage, but she seems very calm and collected backstage. It doesn't always translate great in the ring. Jungle Boy's another one. Like, if you watch the edited clips they do when they're trying to get you excited for the fight, the stuff where he's sitting in his backyard talking to camera, he always does great with that. but that cool, calm, and collected persona doesn't always come through in the ring with a microphone in front of you. That's why Vince says things like they need to be bigger, but backstage, that's a mistake. Toni Storm, who we also love, got the win. I remember seeing Toni Storm the first time on NXT back in the day and being like, who's this, man? Like, they made her look like a rock star in the promos. And then she came out and she wrestled like super mean. It wasn't like super hot rock star girl. It was like, yo, here's my Rikishi ass in your face. Bam! She had this like huge hip attack that she did that just looks violent and brutal. And there was like nothing sweet and Barbie doll about her at all. But I remember going like, damn, man, that girl needs to be in WWE. And then they brought her in to the main roster and they just did nothing with her, to the point where she was so unhappy with the way they were booking her and the content that they were wanting her to create, which she didn't feel was wrestling. And I would agree. Girl asked for her release. Was like, yo, I don't belong here. This isn't what I want to do. I need to go. And not a lot of people have the courage to do that. Not a lot of people have the self-respect to do that. Sometimes you'll stay in a job that you hate because you feel like you have to, and it's the best you can do. And in some cases that may be true, but in a lot, there is something better for you out there. And she, I think, believed in that. This is me guessing, but I know the artists struggle and I know the choices that they have to make and the consequences and successes that come with those things. She found the right place for her. She found a home. They treat her great here. She's doing a great job now with Saraya. She was doing a great job on her own. And she is your women's world champion. And that's the belt that means more than the TBS title, is the AEW Women's Championship. I think it should. The TBS is more like a television title, but Jade was is so special that she's just not the champion now, that I think it made the title seem like something more because you kept waiting to see who was going to get it. I may not have loved the story they got the belt off her with, but they got the belt off. So now it's on them to figure out what Statlander's next challenge is going to be storyline wise. She can wrestle whoever in some matches just to get her over with the people. And more importantly, what do you do with your unicorn? What is that story, her story of redemption? I think she has to fall further. Is it further or farther? Further from grace before she can start climbing back out. What was that Al Pacino line? We got a 1 inch at a time. The inches we need are everywhere. I do a crappy Al Pacino, sorry. But yeah, there's something there for her, and they can start to get that character over and evolve her the way Jericho's always evolving, which helps keep him interesting. Not just his wrestling, it's the stuff he does backstage and in the middle of the ring and the evolution of his character over all this time. So that's what I'm hoping for in the women's division. Again, Toni and Saraya and Ruby have a good thing going right now, so they don't necessarily need a story. Britt Baker is involved in a story. It's just an intergender story, so she doesn't necessarily need a solo story at the moment, but you have to believe that she's going to be going after Toni as soon as this Adam Cole and Jericho thing is wrapped up. So in the meantime, Toni can chill, get some matches. The other ladies can help her cheat to win, or maybe, just maybe, her first opponent that she has to defend against is Shida. Holy Shida. I would love to see that match again. I've seen it a bunch, but I love those two wrestling. I think Shida's super cool. I think Toni's super cool. So I would love to see that. And their characters kind of hate each other right now anyway. She just hit her with a kendo stick. It was awesome. Anyway, that's the AEW Women's Division. This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura podcast network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.